been a wild week in politics, and California voters go to the polls in just 4 weeks. To help us break it all down, I'm joined by Carla Marinucci, senior writer for Politico's California Playbook. Carla, thank you so much for being here today. All right, so I want to start with the State of the Union address. Nancy Pelosi, she took some pieces of paper and ripped it up at the end. It was Mr. Trump's speech.
That's right.
What did you think about that, and did that accomplish anything?
This was yet another iconic moment from Nancy Pelosi. She gets under Trump's skin. She knows that. She said she was being courteous. The fact is, she was being very controversial. This is a moment where, just like the sunglasses and the famous clapback, Nancy Pelosi went viral and in many ways stepped on his speech. I think that was part of the goal, but I also think she was taking what she thought was a very principled moment in answering back what she thought was a speech full of lies, she said this morning. It was dramatic, and she's taking criticism from the Republicans, but that does not seem to faze her. It never does.
Never. Very few things seem to faze her. Now, we had the first vote of the year in Iowa. Things didn't quite go so well over there.
Fiasco.
Fiasco. That would be a good way to say it. Now, what has California been doing to kind of prepare that they're ready when the vote comes?
That's right. Look, what happened in Iowa is an unmitigated disaster for the Democrats, but here in California, both state officials and party officials are assuring us this is not going to be a repeat here. Look, 15.5 million ballots have already gone out in California. That's more than the first 4 states combined, by the way. People are already voting by mail here. And we've got a system in California that just protects us from what we saw in Iowa. Here in California, we've got 58 counties and 58 county registrars running the show, not a political party and not an app like in Iowa. So that right there is going to help. I think there's also a system here that has been in place really since the Civil War, absentee ballots. That's a paper trail. So people are very much assured here it's not going to happen. Doesn't mean the vote count won't go on for maybe days, perhaps even weeks in some close races, but California officials say they know exactly how to count and they will be able to produce those election results.
And you just want to make sure those results are right.
Yeah,
so
with confidence.
Take your time and count those votes.
Right, exactly.
Now, there are a lot of Democratic candidates for president this year, but it seems like in California, we're just hearing about Michael Bloomberg. It's been Bloomberg ads all over the place.
That's right. Well, the other candidates have concentrated on Iowa and New Hampshire, those early states, South Carolina and Nevada. Michael Bloomberg has, in effect, have California all to himself. I've caught him campaigning. He's been Sacramento, Fresno, Compton, this week alone, Barnstorming, California. He's picked up 50 endorsements of different party leaders and local leaders. I think what the results out of Iowa may be something that the Bloomberg folks are watching. If Joe Biden takes a dive, he took a gut punch in Iowa. If he doesn't do well in New Hampshire, that moderate lane is where the Bloomberg people are going. And I'm talking to people who are turning out at his rallies and saying they are still shopping for a candidate. And Bloomberg, they say, has the money and maybe the muscle to just go toe-to-toe with Trump. I think Pete Buttigieg also has that moderate lane. But listen, don't count out Bernie Sanders here in California. He has a very, very enthusiastic base. He's been here more than any other candidate in terms of having big rallies. He will be back here. Buttigieg is coming back here for 4 fundraisers next week in the Bay Area alone. Those are going to be very, very hot items. So the candidates are here. The voters are already casting ballots. And as you said, we've got just a couple of weeks to go before that big Super Tuesday primary. 495 delegates at stake here. That's 10 times what's at stake in Iowa.
Now, I talked to a GOP strategist last night. He was telling me that with all these impeachment proceedings, what it did was to more or less bolster that Republican Party.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think the Republicans are in a position to take back some of those seats in the House?
This is what they're hoping, Andrea. That's exactly what you saw President Trump do this morning from the White House, throw red meat to his base, talked about Kevin McCarthy and Devin Nunes, some of those House members here in California. But there's some seats they are absolutely looking at taking back. Look, you have Duncan Hunter's seat. He resigned in disgrace. There's a contest there between Republicans, Darrell Issa and Carl DeMaio. Very contentious. They want that seat, but the Democrat there may go for it. Look, Katie Hill's seat, she had to resign also because of House ethics issues. That is a very contentious race where you're seeing people like George Papadopoulos, the Trump insider go for that seat, and on the other side, a very contentious Democratic race. So yes, the Republicans want some of those seats back, and Kevin McCarthy's hoping to be the next Speaker of the House.
And the ultimate race will be decided in November, so we'll see what happens there. Carla,
Absolutely.
thank
Stay
you
tuned.
so much
Thanks.
for joining us.
Good to be here.
Thank you. Well, again, votes on Tuesday, March 3rd, and there's more on the primary on the ballot. We have a special section on our website with a voter's guide to the big local issues. Just head to kpix.com/campaign2020. And we'll be right